Oh, it's so good to have the gang back together. There goes T-Rex. Let's go, Steve. Let's go. Rex is waiting for us. I don't think it's the brightest day outside, but whatever. Morning, Steve. T-Rex, so good to see you again. Where's Mitt? We'll find Mitt later. Are you excited to go out on this somewhat gray Saturday? Affirmative. It's a gray Saturday. You smell that? It's the ocean. I smell the ocean. I feel little raindrops hitting my hand, and I've got on a shacket. That's a shirt jacket. 59 degrees. What a coincidence. Guess what the water temperature is at the Boston buoy? 59 degrees. Good guess. In case Mitt does show up, let's close the screen door. We still have the windows open, kind of cooling off the house. Nature's air conditioning kicking in again on a Saturday, of course. Not just any Saturday. It's June 14th, 248th anniversary of the adoption of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It was adopted by Woodrow Wilson, President, 1916, as June 14th would be recognized as Flag Day. And I recognize it as another damp Saturday, but it's not damp in all of New England. Let's look at the best view in all of New England this morning, as far as I'm concerned. I looked around at some of the cams and look at Jay Peak. This is at 9 o'clock this morning. Very little smoke in the sky. And can you get much greener in the Green Mountains than this, with total sunshine in far northern New England, where very dry air and high pressure is in control? It's a 1024 millibar high pressure system, and it's got pretty cool air with it. And the warm air that was with us a couple of days ago has been pressed off to the south, and that boundary between the cold trying to push south and the warm that's to our south is creating this cloud here this morning. I'll show the regional temperature roundup with the dew point numbers on there, and where it was sunny there in Newport, Vermont, it was already up to 60, and the dew point all the way down to the 30s at the Canadian border. Very dry air, and that's going to come south tomorrow. Boston, of course, 59 degrees, same as the water temperature. And look at the dew point on Nantucket, only 48 degrees. So although we have a wind from the northeast coming in off the ocean, those dew points are low enough that maybe we can avoid the fog and the low clouds. I mean, we have it right now. There's the view looking toward Boston. And those clouds are moving from east to west down in the air of the ground, but way up in the sky, the air is coming from west to east. So that's differential advection. And you can get sunshine increasing with a wind from the northeast. Here's the satellite image. And there's that definitive line there just south of Jay, Vermont, to central Maine, where points north. It's just a gorgeous day, feeling more like September, I guess, than June. And then the clouds are thick all the way down to the middle Atlantic states, with several waves of low pressure coming along. And here was the radar at about 8:30 this morning. Some heavier rain there near Lake Erie and towards the south of Long Island. Then a strip of mostly light rain along Interstate 90, with the northern edge of the rain pressing off to the south as the day goes on. How much rain fell in the last 24 hours? It looks like there was a little bullseye there of a ½ inch of rain, enough to water the lawn only in the Brattleboro area over to Swansea, New Hampshire. There was enough rain to water the lawn. The Boston area, less than a tenth of an inch of rain, and the rain was just arriving on Cape Cod, so there was no number from Cape Cod yet. And we can kind of count the raindrops here on the steps with T-Rex. Not even enough to dampen the steps, but it is raining lightly now. Come on, Rex, this way. What are you doing? He wants to go down there. No, Rex, we're going to go over here. You come over here. So let's show the temperature on Mount Washington. Yeah, I want to show that. It's only 35 degrees on 36 degrees on Mount Washington. But that drier air, that lower relative humidity is going to come south. And we are going to have increasing sunshine from north to south today, but it's only slow. I don't think the Boston area will see the sun, but we will tomorrow by the looks of things. Here's the meteogram for Boston from the Euro model, and it shows today we're kind of pegged in the lower 60s with the rain diminishing in the afternoon, and then gradual increase. See the waves of the red line? Those are diurnal waves. As the sun comes up, tomorrow we recover back into the 60s, then tomorrow night back down to the 50s, and then into the 70s on Monday, and so on, with the red line getting up to 90 by Thursday. It's not going to be totally clean. It won't be rain-free, but the blue line also kind of a steady incline there, not diurnally affected. It just keeps going up into the 6s. The dew point, first of all, today goes down to 48 in Boston. Just amazing. Nice dry air, even though it's light rain. I guess you'd call it chilly. And then the dew point goes up to the 50s, and then by Wednesday in the 60s to 70 Wednesday night and Thursday. And then both lines start going back down, and of course they show raindrops next Saturday, is it? Or Sunday. There's going to be a moving target of a weather system coming at us next weekend also on the summer solstice. There's going to be quite a front coming through New England, and there may be some ramifications on the backside of that. Here's the NAM showing the precipitation today, and you can see it kind of shearing apart and falling south and pretty much done by about 18, 19 Z. That's 3, 4 o'clock. So this evening should be mostly dry and fairly chilly. Need a jacket to go into Fenway Park or wherever. Lots of things going on. And tomorrow, 1022 high pressure system right over us. The thicknesses are in the order of 558 to and increasing. So there's cold air aloft, but there's going to be a warm front coming at us. So there'll be some high clouds. And one thing we didn't see much of in that satellite was smoke. So I think that there'll probably be minimal to maybe moderate smoke in the atmosphere tomorrow. And it doesn't show much in the precipitation department, maybe just a sprinkle out of probably just some cumulus clouds, some instability clouds that are going to develop tomorrow. And that goes into Monday where it shows mostly dry. That system the Euro was teasing us with from Monday now looks like it's going to be way off to the south, which is a good thing. And I just got a phone call, Peter Hecking. I'll call you back ASAP. I probably already did because it's 9:30 in the morning. And one of the reasons we're late is I like to listen to Casey Kasem on Sunday morning in WPLM. And the top song on this weekend in 1976 was Wings. Paul McCartney and Wings with Another Silly Love Song. So why don't we look at Another Beautiful Rose for another silly love song? And silly weather, man. Here's the Euro going forward day by day. And there's the front settling off to the south. Nice 1024 high with increasing sunshine from north to south late today and especially tomorrow. Maybe the south coast gets stuck in the clouds. It's going to be fairly chilly, probably 60 at the coast to 70 inland tomorrow. And nice comfortable nights for sleeping. No need for turning on the heat or the air conditioner. And Monday, that system is almost non-existent now over the middle Atlantic states, but there are some raindrops coming over the top of a warm ridge that's coming at us. So a chance of showers in northern New England with the warm front that's coming through here. And that warm front's going to come through in stages. While most of that subtropical action stays well off to the south, we'll still have an onshore flow into about Tuesday. And then it's Wednesday that we start all getting into southwesterly flow. And it's quite a powerful low pressure system developing over the Great Lakes states and kind of deepening. I won't call it bombogenesis. By Thursday night, there's a 989 millibar low pressure system to our north. Very strong storm to our north, and that drives a front in here with severe weather late Thursday and for summer solstice Friday, June 20th. Wow. I think this might be a little overdone, and then it shows dramatic cooling Friday night into Saturday. And timeout. We've got a prehistoric bird going by, an egret. We break for egrets. T-Rex turned into a bird, I think, over evolution, something like that. I was hoping I was going to land for us, but I guess it's headed over towards Fort Point, over that way. Well, speaking of headed for Fort Point, glad I stopped. No, I don't think so. The Maine Coon, see how they walk? They walk like raccoons. That's why I call them Maine Coons. No, Steve, that's enough. Where are you going? No. How about if I put your line? Nope, Steve, that's it. Sees that bird, there's a grackle over there. Steve, this way, come on. Good boy. Look at him go. Have you ever seen him run that fast? But at least he's listening to me. And then I gotta, come on, Steve, this way. Come over to Steve's rock. And then this is this holder, this garden tool. All right, we're good. All right, go back to next Friday already in progress. And there's that front. I'll rewind it a little bit. There's that front coming through here with a chance of some severe thunderstorms next Friday or so. And that would make for a nice Saturday, I think, with high pressure. This is such a low confidence forecast, but that would be briefly cooler. And then the heat is going to reload and be coming at us. And it looks like a major cluster of thunderstorms. Is that a derecho coming at us from Lake Superior, holding together on the edge of the heat next Saturday night into Sunday morning? Wow, that would be something else. That would be incredible. That's just a sign of the times with such hot air coming up in the middle of the United States with the 582 thickness. Wow. So this goes out now to Monday, June 23rd at 8 p.m. And that system will have gone by. I mean, the ability to forecast a derecho from 7 to 8 days out is pretty much impossible. So I doubt that really can happen, but it shows you what's going to be developing. That ring of fire type big dome of heat is going to be coming closer and closer with the thunderstorms on the edge of it. And you see the 582 thickness near New England with an offshore flow and enough sunshine. That means temperatures could be near 100 degrees about 3 days after the summer solstice. And that would have brought us from near 70 on Saturday to near 100 on Monday. So I'm getting a little bit queasy just thinking about that kind of action next week. So I'm kind of happy that right now it's fairly straightforward with this rain going away, but leaving us with a chilly Saturday and a pretty Sunday. Lots of interesting little things to watch next week as we really warm it up. And I think that's the end of the weather forecast. Sorry, it was kind of all over the place. Yesterday's and more on Cape Cod going down the beach, and what a beautiful day it was. And then the wind kind of shifted on us and came in from the south. That was a surprise, but it was still nice. Thank you, Alan and Karen and Carol and Bob and Kevin, all working on getting our floats out there in the swimming area. And the cormorant was just kind of watching us, waiting. He wants to get on that raft and mess it all up. And nice to meet you, Ralph. Looking good. Casual. And then coming home and seeing the animals. And yeah, we've got some altocumulus. Steve is eating the cat mint right now. So Steve is getting his morning caffeine, and that is a survivor from the big dig of last winter. And the lawn, however, is not a survivor. This is just not how it was supposed to come out. We were told it was going to be rebuilt as it was, and it was like that. So that's a work in progress. Everything's a work in progress, right? Including this decrepit garden. I'm glad at least you have something that you like. Here's the and more from yesterday. And more from our Friday the 13th. You can see how the high water mark from the last heavy rain a few days ago. And we're reminded that bark mulch floats. So if you live uphill and you're missing some bark mulch, come on back down the hill and you can bring it back. Total blue sky, mid-70s on Cape Cod, just gorgeous. I think the nicest weather in all of New England, this side of northern Maine. Bunny. Wow, the minnows are pretty big for this early in the year, I think. Those aren't baby stripers, are they? And we got crabs around. The water's pretty clean because there's no boats in the pond right now. It hasn't rained in a couple days. Let's see if we can't find a crab. There's a tiny one right there. See it? Oh, he just buried himself. That's the thing. You step on one, it's under the sand. There they go, scurrying off. See them? Abundant crabs. Sorry, I missed it. Can you do it again? Looking good. Hey. Look at the size of this horseshoe crab. Hi, Mark.
They live a long time, but this one expired. And they also traverse the coasts with the tides. One's been tagged in New Jersey and showed up in Georgia months later. They know when to move with the tide. So if the tide's going south, they go south. When the tide goes north, they just bury themselves and stay there. I think I see an oyster that might be alive. I did. Yeah, there's a real live oyster here. First Fallens Pond oyster I've seen. I can't remember how long. That's great news. I mean, there are so many oyster farms now all over the place. So wild oysters will probably start spreading. So last week I said that's a bird yelling at Steve, and somebody said it was a chipmunk. Is that a chipmunk? Pedal power. Friday the 13th, and the cormorant saw us working on the raft. Can't wait to come over and visit. Interesting development that the air just started coming in from the south all of a sudden. There's leisurely Ralph, I think I'm gonna call him, going out to his boat. Yeah, nice to meet you, Ralph. And yeah, we've got some altocumulus that just kind of turned around, so all of a sudden we get a wind from the west-southwest. So the boundary is right over southeastern Massachusetts. Look at this all of a sudden. And the swimming area is ready to go. Summer began. Friday the 13th. Tons of osprey around, but I haven't seen them catch a fish. I just see them flying by with fish in their talons. That cormorant is just waiting for us to go off the beach so he can take up his summer residence right there. And from the, wow, I've never seen a boat like that department. It's a Jeep. It's not a boat, it's a Jeep. All right, we're heading north again. When people drive south, I like to drive north, vice versa. A lot of clouds. It's close to 80 on Cape Cod. The wind came around from the south. Didn't really see that coming. I would assume I'm gonna drive into some cooler air. Headed back to see T-Rex, Mitt, and Steve. 67 degrees, almost looks like Altocumulus castellanus. Really interesting play-by-play, so it's cooling off again on Cape Cod, and the sun's still out south side. Not too smoky. Bad sign, not too many people coming off the bridge. Bad sign for the business. 65 degrees, we got some people on the beach. Quite pretty. Back to the big dig. Smoke sky. It smells smoke, but it'll be a backyard. Oh, we have to include Mitt. Mitt is just chilling out here. It is kind of chilly, but it's pleasant. It feels a little bit more like May than June with the air coming in from the east here. Steve's grazing down there, and T-Rex has got himself a treat that he won't share. What is it, Rex? Rex, can I have a bite? What is that? How's that again? Oh, are you saying you missed me? So the tail's wagging. What is that? It's Slim Jim, a T-Rex Slim Jim. So when he was a really little baby, the first milk bone we ever gave him, he took it and did all this, and he went out and buried it in the bark mulch, and I found it like a year later. Something like that. With the tail's wagging. So I think he's happy to see us. Steve's over there by Steve's rock. And the roses mostly doing well. Some curious thing going on with some of the roses. That happened to you, Jeff, too, didn't it? It was something, well, yours got eaten. And Steve, rose petals. What's that? And my lettuce keeps getting eaten, of course. Peas are kind of alive, tomatoes are kind of alive. And you probably already saw that they laid a couple sections of concrete down there. And I missed that, but there'll be plenty more. and more and more peonies here gone by. So surprising lack of clouds here for a boundary. So close. The boundaries are kind of spread out. Layered boundaries. Northern New England, central New England, southern New England. Those clouds on Cape Cod look pretty cool. Here they are in the time lapse. We had these altocumulus. Just kind of appeared right over the middle of the Cape, kind of perpendicular, parallel to the flow. And then there were some cirrus cloud waves that were perpendicular to the flow aloft. So air down below is coming in from the east, then it shifted around and came in from the south on Cape Cod. But probably came back from the east late in the day, I think. And here in Weymouth, I would assume there were some clouds first thing in the day. Are there? Are there clouds there? Tide coming in. Definitely smoke. And that temperature in the lower left, of course, is wrong. It's not 32 degrees. It's a hardware issue with a tempest. And then the tide going out. There he goes. He's consuming the whole thing. That's funny. And Steve, over on Steve's Rock. Steve, can you smile for the end of the day and more? He's just staring over, waiting for a bird or a bunny. All right. Very pleasant evening. It's a play-by-play weekend. Hopefully turning out better than we've been saying all week long. Appreciate your viewership. Thanks for watching. Talk to you tomorrow.